Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on that show, and I'm here to recap Smackdown from tonight. What's today? November 21st. To get my thoughts and go over the card here tonight. So here's what was advertised. Carmelo Hayes and Bronson Reed, Penta and Finn Balor in the John Cena tournament. And the Do-It-Yourself versus Fraxium. So let's look at everything that happened this week here on SmackDown. So I want to get my full thoughts first here on the show. The show, ended with Flair, Bliss, Sky, and Ripley giving a promo to introduce the fifth member of their team, which obviously was AJ. The War Games opponents and attacked them from behind and ended up taking out the baby faces. This week's show seemed pretty average on paper, but it ended up being probably one of the better recent episodes thanks to 4 strong matches and a few storyline developments. Depending on what you enjoy, any of the matches we got this week could be considered the best, but if I have to pick one, maybe Dragunov and JD McDonough was pretty damn good. WWE's felt a little bland in recent weeks, but things are, beginning to heat up a little bit as we head into Survivor Series tonight. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It was definitely one of the better Smackdowns in recent weeks to me. So I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It was fine. So we get to the opening segment. SmackDown, it opens with Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, and Bronson Reed come to the ring to hype up their War Games team. The Usos interrupted and exchanged some words with Heyman's team. Cody was going to join Jimmy and Jay, but when he didn't show up, we got a backstage shot that showed Drew McIntyre leaving him knocked out in his own tour bus. The Usos ran to check on him as the show went to a break. Considering WWE usually makes its opening segments longer than needed, this felt short and sweet. Not much was accomplished aside from Rhodes being attacked, but they did what they needed to do without taking up too much time. So, fine way to start the show, I guess, right there. Ilya Dragunov versus JD McDonough. He came out to take on another opponent in the U.S. Open Challenge for the United States Championship. The United States Championship call was answered by JD McDonough. These two have fought many times in the Indies and in WWE. There was no love lost here. This was great. Oh my lord, what is happening? So, Dragunov won clean with his finisher like every Dragunov Open Challenge. It's another match you need to see for yourself. I thought it was good. But it felt like the crowd had no idea who was coming out to the music until McDonough appears. Why these themes nowadays suck, because most of them sound the exact same. But yeah, this was a great match. I would say the best match of the show. Really, all of Dragunov's U.S. Open Challenge matches have been really damn good. Obviously, Dragunov got the win and retained the championship. Carmelo Hayes versus Bronson Reed in the John Cena tournament. So as expected, Bronson Reed had control almost immediately. He was twice as big as Hayes, so the former NXT champion had a hard time regaining composure as the big man Bronson Reed unloaded. Pause. Yeah, this was a classic David versus Goliath dynamic. Reed was a dominant monster, and Hayes did a great job giving the crowd hope they would make a comeback. The Usos came to Melo's defense when Breaker and Paul started interfering. Heyman had the ref distracted. Rhodes showed up and pushed him into the ring post, allowing Melo to win by countout to advance in the tournament. WWE doesn't do this kind of finish much these days, so it felt like a decent way to advance this story while also giving Carmelo Hayes the win and advancing to the next round of the Cena tournament. Yeah, the crowd was very well anti-Paul, which he played into very well. And they gave a good reaction to Carmelo Hayes. So yeah, good match here. Carmelo Hayes gets the win. Do-It-Yourself versus Fraxium. So, next match here. Ciampa seemed a little distracted by his feud with Dragunov, so Fraxium was able to take control. Early Do-It-Yourself was able to regroup and slow their opponents down. DOI ended up getting a cheap win when LeRae pulled off Axiom's mask and Gargano was able to pin him as he tried to cover up. This was a solid match with a semi-creative ending that would maybe keep this feud alive. DIY beats Fraxium. Fraxium's one of those teams that you can put in the ring with anyone and they can get at least a good match. But most of them are great. They're that good. WWE better not break up DIY again just because this dragging off stuff. It feels like they have broken up and reunited more than enough. And Candice LeRae feels so underused. She's a fantastic performer, and WWE never seems to know what to do with her. Triple H doesn't know what to do with anybody, I guess. Penta versus Finn Balor, the main event. This was part of the John Cena tournament. WWE's smart to put this match in the main event because these are two of the most skilled people who competed on the card this week. Penta and Balor only competed against each other for the first time this year, but since then they've had a handful of matches and they've improved with each one. What is happening? Balor was doing his usual heel act, which made Penta even more popular with the live crowd. He's really over with the live crowd. Even the Masked Man did seem to get a reaction. After the Prince failed to hit the coup de grace, Penta was able to hit his Destroyer finisher for the pin and the win. Penta defeats Finn Balor as expected. But yeah, I mean, SmackDown from top to bottom was pretty solid, you know. Good in-ring action, you know, with Dragunov and McDonough. Hayes and Reed had a good match. Penta and Balor, I thought, had a good match. So, the in-ring action I thought was solid tonight. Pretty good tournament matches. War Games build. And Sheamus, you know, Sheamus is hurt, so who's going to replace Sheamus? That's kind of going to be a thing to watch. Who's going to replace Sheamus? But SmackDown was good tonight. Actually, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I know I said 6, but I'll give it a 7. 6, 7, 6, 7. But yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10, actually. So, enjoyed it tonight. Definitely way better than any past SmackDowns have been. Most of them kind of been boring, but they actually gave a good SmackDown tonight. So, good show. Not going to say a banger, but I'll say it was good. But yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe for more. Peace.